Maddie the Novel Stitcher. It is Friday, April 7th, and this is Flosstube number 16. This is a channel where I talk all about cross-stitching and my love of stitching and some bookish content, book reviews, and what I'm reading at the end. If you're new here, thank you so much for checking my channel out. I hope you will consider subscribing and head down into the comments and let me know how you found my channel and what you're currently stitching on, where you live. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here with me again. I'm so happy to be spending some more time with you today. So I hope everyone is well and has had a great couple weeks of stitching. I've had a pretty good past 2 weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you might already know, but last weekend I got engaged. Yay! I'm very excited. Can't wait. So my boyfriend, now fiance, Alex, proposed to me last weekend. If you want to meet him and learn a little bit more about him, go to my channel and scroll down the videos a little ways, and we did a Flosstube extra together where he asked me some viewer submitted questions and I quizzed him on stitchy things, and we just kind of chatted and had a good time. So if you'd like to meet Alex, go and check that out. But it was a bit of a surprise. I knew he was going to propose sometime soon, but it's tax season and he works in taxes, so I kind of figured he would wait until tax season was over, and he knew I would figure that, and so he wanted it to be somewhat of a surprise. So last weekend we went to church, and then we went to this little beautiful park not far from the church that we go to a lot. I knew that it would be all in bloom with all of the spring flowers, and last year we missed some of the cherry blossoms and the daffodils and things, so I definitely wanted to go and make sure we didn't miss that this year, so we already knew I wanted to go there. So we went to the beautiful little park and took a little stroll around, and then he asked me to marry him, and I said yes, of course. And then we went out for a really nice brunch, and it was just a lovely day. And it was also very thoughtful of him because my parents are in town this weekend. They are headed up from Delaware to Pennsylvania soon. And so he wanted to propose before they came up for the weekend so that we could all celebrate together, which is super sweet. So it should be a very good weekend. Lots of happiness, lots of good things going on. Thank you all for your kind comments in my last video about my upcoming niece who's going to be born this summer too. So lots for my parents to be excited about. A lot of good things going on for us this year. So 2023 is going to be a big year, but all good things. So I hope you're all doing well. My thoughts go out to anyone who lives in the Midwest or South who's been dealing with some of these storms and bad weather and tornadoes, just really devastating. So I hope you're all safe and well and stitching. So I think this is a pretty big life update. So let's dive right into what I've been stitching. And I will have 2 starts. I will have some whips, a little bit of progress. I haven't done like a ton of stitching, but a little bit of progress on a good number of whips. I will announce the Stitchy treats from last episode, so I will announce the names for those. I'm going to give some recommendations for Flosstubers. I have a teeny tiny bit of haul, and I will talk about a little bit of books in this video, but that will come at the very end. So let's start with my starts. So of course I had to do a I'm now engaged start. So I wanted to stitch something to kind of represent me and Alex, and I chose from Plum Street Samplers, A Sweeter Love. I got this over the summer, kind of at a grab bag sidewalk sale that my LNS had, and I just thought it was pretty. Didn't know if I would ever stitch it, but now I will. And so that's A Sweeter Love. Hopefully that's coming across okay. This actually, I guess back in the day, this is a 2006 pattern. This is an actual picture of the model of the stitch, which is interesting that I guess that's how they had to do it back then. But so that's A Sweeter Love. And this, it says, if I climbed the highest mountain or crossed all land and sea, I could never find a sweeter love than thou hast given me. So there's places for like, you can put your initials, I guess the names possibly. I don't know if I'll put our names there or something else, and initials and like the date, the year. So I think that'll be a fun stitch, something meaningful. I did send it to Alex and he's like, that's nice. How long is that gonna take you? And I was like, I don't know, a long time. And he's like, okay. But he's very supportive of my stitching, even if he doesn't always understand why we would spend maybe a year stitching something when it's like, you just buy a poster or a picture or something. But yeah, that's what we like to do. We like to create it ourselves and put our own heart into it. So this I'm stitching on my first 40 count, which I'm liking. It's not that difficult for me so far. So it's just Vintage Country Mocha, 40 count, and I'm using the Call for DMC and just a little start. That's all I have, but I think it's gonna stitch up really pretty. Also, I probably would have had a little more done, but I started in the upper left-hand corner here. And so I started here, but it sticks out more here, but I started this at the very edge of where I needed to for the fabric. And I realized, oh, then I'm gonna get too close to the border or the margin. And so I had to frog a little, but I think it'll be really pretty when it's done. And I like stitching on 40. It just looks like nice and delicate. And of course, Vintage Country Mocha is a pretty popular favorite one. So that is my engagement start. Next, my other start, which I only did a very little bit of progress on, but it's just because I wanted to try out silks, was a Top Notch cup of tea. This is from Top Knot Stitcher, Abby of Top Knot Stitcher. And this was part of the Xstitch the Rainbow kind of collaboration where they sent out 4 colors of silks to, I think, around 25 designers and said, stitch something with these 4 silks based on the theme of tea time. And so I got the silks and a couple of the patterns, and I just wanted to try out silks because I've never stitched with silks. And they are Treenway silks. Really pretty colors. And these are lovely, lovely to stitch with. So I am stitching it on a 28 count. Oh, that's the back. Just like barn door or barnwood. I just got this at my L&S over the summer. Didn't know what I would stitch it on, and I think it's the perfect color for this tea stitch. And just a little bit of the border and a little bit of the white up there. So not a ton. This is a 28 count. So I am doing, am I doing 2 over 2? Yeah, I'm doing 2 over 2 on a 28 count, just a linen. It's probably looking a little bit more almost gray. It's just a light brown. Well, a medium brown, I guess I would say, but I think that's going to stitch up really pretty. So I'm excited to make more progress on that one. So yeah, I just have one bit of the border and a little bit of that steam from the tea. And I bought 2 tea themed patterns. I don't have the other one in front of me, but I bought 2 of them, and I had enough of that fabric to stitch both of them on it. So they'll both be on the same color fabric, and I'll probably finish them separately, but then they can sit or hang if I frame them side by side. So those are my 2 new starts. And then we can move on to whips. So of course, this was almost a finish. So I kind of want you all to just pretend it's finished because I did make a lot of progress on Berry Patch. I spent most of the last week stitching on it in the hopes that I would finish it in time for this video. And I was just so close, but I didn't want to I wanted to film today since my parents are coming into town and didn't want to stress myself over it or, you know, try to fit filming in at another time. So it's like, you just imagine that it's finished because it's very close. So this is my Best Bunny Sal Berry Patch by Hello from Liz Matthews. Just a super sweet little stitch. And for me, I guess since I'm almost done, the Sal is wrapping up, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep stitching bunnies. Best Bunny Sal is just to stitch something with a bunny, anything with a bunny, and the hashtag will be out there forever. And you know, you can send me pictures or let me know that you're stitching bunnies at any time and it can keep going. But for me, it's wrapping up. And so there's my berry patch. So all I have left to do, and I think since I last saw you, I did a lot. So like I finished a lot of this down here. I didn't have any of this done. I finished up the border because the border wasn't done yet. I did this whole bottom row. I did the whole beehive all of this, most of this, I just stitched on this one because it's so cute. And it's a fun stitch. So this is 32 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. Really like stitching on this. It's a really lovely creamy white fabric, so highly recommend that. The called for was Milk and Honey, which had a more brown tinge, so I liked this better, which is why I chose this. Using all the called for DMC except for the flowers, which Liz stitched in white, and I have stitched in a very light purple. I think it's 3747 DMC, just because the white wouldn't have popped so much on this fabric. And so all I have to do is there's one more flower here, and I have to fill that one. And then there's a strawberry here, and like a couple other like these, like a one or two of those, something like that. Oh, and I guess I forgot the seeds on that strawberry. So I gotta make sure to do that. And then all of the flowers have a little bit of back stitching in them. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do the back stitching, but I actually might. It just makes them look a little bit more like real flowers. But I love this. It's so cute. It looks so good. Like, look at it. It makes me happy. So, yeah, that's Berry Patch. And I did find something to fully finish it on. So I have a Big Lots near me, and they're actually pretty good for like cheapy things that you can kind of reimagine for finishing. And it was kind of rainy last Saturday and I didn't have a lot going on, so I went to Big Lots and I found this. And so it's supposed to be a picture frame, and it, you know, says Home Sweet Home, but this is just screwed on, so I'm gonna try to get that off, take this off, and then cover the whole thing with this with some sort of backing fabric. It'll fit with the backing fabric. And I just like that it had, you know, this handle, and I liked the brown, and then it actually does have a stand so that it can stand up, or you can hang it. And so that's what I'm gonna use to finish Berry Patch. So hopefully next time you see me, I will have that fully finished. I was gonna say something else and I forgot. Oh, it was like $7 or $8. So Big Lots is good. I got a couple little things that I can do some finishing on. So yeah, I think that'll look really nice. And I'll probably put it like here with finishing fabric and then do like a bow. I also have some little fabric carrots that I got at Joann. So maybe this is decently deep. So maybe I'll like glue them or lean them in here on the corners. I don't know. I'll see how I decide to fully finish it, but it's nice to have the materials. So that'll be exciting. I like that one. I like Liz Mathew's patterns. They just always stitch up so nice. And the next one I worked on was Oh Joyous Day. So this is part of the Joyous Day Sal with Bridget the Museum Stitcher and Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot, Blackbird Designs. This is my first Blackbird. And I'm really liking stitching on this one. I do have quite a lot of like larger projects. Now I'm doing a Sweeter Love, I'm doing this, so gotta work on balancing the bigger ones with some of the smaller ones, so I'm getting things finished and not feeling like stuff is gonna take me really long. But I am enjoying this one, and I feel like it should go fast, but there's a lot of little bits in there. And it also has some specialty stitches. So the border at the top is satin stitches, there's Smyrna's and other stitches. So that taking me a little bit longer just because I'm not used to doing specialty stitches, but I like this one. And I am doing this on a 36 count Needle and Flax. Needle and Flax, right? I'll put it down below if I'm wrong. I can't believe it. Like, yes, I'm pretty sure it's Needle and Flax, but it's Steinbeck 36 count. Beautiful fabric. I love this fabric. And what I do is while I'm stitching on this Needle and Flax Flosstube, she has a series that she's doing on the First Ladies. And so she loves history and she's very well versed in history. And so she's doing different kind of Flosstubes, but not really, like different episodes, little history episodes on the First Ladies. So she did Martha Washington, she did Abigail Adams. And it's just super enjoyable, so I'm watching those while I stitch on this. I am using Called For DMC and Fancy Floss, And so last time you saw me, I had mostly finished the pear there, and then I worked on this red flower with the birds, and then started the flower at the end. And then I actually got that border to go almost all the way across. I worked on this border up here, which I only had a little bit done. So I think it's coming along really well. I'm liking how it's looking. And once I finish this flower, that's actually how long it's gonna be. And so that will be the full width of the piece. So I'm very excited. It looks really nice. I like 40 and 36 count are becoming like my sweet spots for stitching. So that is Oh Joyous Day. Join in on the Sal if you're interested in stitching that one. It's really nice, it's really pretty. And Sarah, Bridget, and I would be happy to have you join in and use the hashtag and see your stitching. Then the next whip I did is Be Happy. So this is part of the All the Bees Sal, kind of similar to my Best Bunny Sal, where it's just stitching something with a bee. And that is being hosted by Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, and Kathy Walker of Two Needles Pulling Thread. And so I chose Be Happy by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I'm really liking this one too. Primrose is just like, I could probably stitch this one up so fast if I wasn't working on a ton of different things. So, but I really like their patterns. And so this one I'm doing on a 28 count Whisper Lugana, and I'm kind of using my own colors for this one, which I talked more about in my last video. I don't have the list of DMC in front of me, but you can always DM me if you want my colors. And I talked about it in my last video too. But this is Be Happy so far. So I think I had finished all of this top part the last time you saw me, so it's probably just the beehive. And I didn't even finish bee. Jumping around from whip to whip these days. But what I changed is I actually did, oh, I'm forgetting what it's called. When you combine two strands of different colors of thread. No, not coming to me. Oh well. For this and for the bee, I took a lighter yellow strand of thread and a darker yellow strand of thread, and that's how I stitched it. And there's a name for that, and I can't believe I'm blanking, but I worked all week and my brain is just not firing on all cylinders right now. A blend. Ooh, I got it. There we go. I did a blend. So just to get like kind of like a different texture and a different color there. So I did a blend for those and for the bee. And then for the border and then the darker words, they had used the brown that's in the bee up there, and I chose to do a blue because I really like blue and I didn't want to overdo the brown for this one. So this one's coming along really well. And again, like, I can stitch this up real fast if I kind of focused on it. So this might be a focus piece over the next couple of weeks, just because I could stitch this up real quickly. So, but we'll see. But yeah, their patterns, especially these little ones, stitch up real fast. I don't know how I'm going to fully finish it, but I do want to put it at my cubicle at work. So I'll have to figure out, depending on like the size it finishes it, since it's vertical, it's a little bit of a different size, but I'll see what I can do for that. And that'll be really cute on my desk at work, at least for the summer. And then I'll put it away in the fall. And then I also worked on Spring Quaker. This one is also part of a Sal. Spring is sure to follow Sal, I think is the hashtag, and that is the Huga Stitcher, Samantha. Started this back for a snow day stitch to stitch when it snowed. We got like no snow in Pennsylvania, which I like some snow days, but now that it's April and it's warm and the flowers are in bloom, I don't want to think about snow anyway. But she has the entire border done. And so this is Spring Quaker by Lila's Studio, and Samantha has got the whole border done. I'm not even close, but that's okay. We did not have many snow days, and I've been just dabbling with a lot of different things, and this one's going to take a bit of time too, especially once you get to this basket. But it's so pretty. I mean, I love that basket. You could just stitch that on its own, and that would be beautiful. So, Spring Quaker, Lila's Studio. This one is on a 32 count antique ivory. 2/2 using called for DMC. So this is what I have so far. Last time you saw this, I had, this all stitched, and so I really just did this. Yeah, it was like a couple hours of stitching. Really didn't make too much progress on this. I think it was 1 hour of stitching, and I just did a little bit more of this Quaker motif that goes up there. So not a ton on this one either, just little progress on a lot of whips, but this is also, I'm doing it for Whip Go. And so for Whip Go, this is number 17 that was called for April, and I have to do 8 hours on this, now 7 since I did 1. So I think it's gonna be really pretty, and I'm glad it was called for Whip Go this month because A, we're like really in spring, really starting to see the flowers bloom, really getting warm out, and B, I just think it's so pretty. So I'm really excited to be able to make more progress on this and maybe get a whole page finished. I don't know how much 8 hours will be, but I like that one too. So I think that's it for my whips. So I think because I spent so much time on Berry Patch, it just seems like less progress on things this time around, which isn't a bad thing, but also means this video went pretty fast because you've seen most of it. And even, A Sweeter Love, I only have a teeny little bit of progress on that one. So, but I'll get more stitching done in the next 2 weeks. Got to figure out, I'll talk about plans in a little bit, figure out what I want to focus on. But let's do Stitchy Treats next. So thank you everyone who entered for a Stitchy Treat. Really glad to be able to send out some, stitchy stuff to my viewers. It's a lot of fun to put things in the mail and know that it's going to a good home. So number 1 was this Stitcherhood Quaker Heart, and this is going to Natalie Paquette, Paquette, or Nathalie. I think it's Natalie. So Natalie, what you need to do is email me. My email is in the description. It is novelstitcher, all one word, @gmail.com. So email me your address. Please be 18 years or older. I'm hoping everyone who entered is. Most people are, but please be 18 years or older. And just email me your address, and I will ship this out to you within the next couple weeks. So that was number 1. Number 2 is the Spring Wishes and Bunny Kisses by Primrose, and this one is going to Emmy Rose 22A. Emmy Rose 22A. So Emmy, send me your address and I'll send that out to you. Number 3 is the Milk and Cream Co. by Plum Street. Cute little cow. This one is going to Barb Severino, Severino, Barb Severino. So Barb, email me your address and you'll get that. Number 4 is this Hen Party one. This is going to Erin Stitches. Erin Stitches. So Erin, send me your address. And then the last one is Pineberry Lanes, Mrs. Maguire's Hen House. And that's number 5, and that's going to Mary Brubaker. Mary Brubaker. So Mary, send me your address and I'll get that out to you. So, yay. And then I'm gonna talk about a few Flosstubers that I would like to recommend. The first 2 are slightly newer, especially the first one. So the first one is Hannah. She is Microbiology Makes. She only has 3 videos out, and I think the first one is a whip parade, and she's so sweet. She's just a very sweet young woman. She's younger, and she has some lovely stitching. She does all kinds. She does smaller ones. I think she did Big Hearted Tiny Town, and then she also does full coverage, which always fascinates me. I'm tempted to do full coverage and try that out, but haven't quite gotten up the courage to do full coverage yet. But she has a Lady and the Tramp full coverage she's doing that's just really cool. And she only has 3 videos out, so it's always good to give those newer Flosstubers a watch and give them, your viewership and appreciation. So please check out Hannah at Microbiology Makes, and I tag everyone below in the description. So all you have to do is open up that description box and you can click and go right over to their videos. The next one, also younger and also newer, 10 videos out, is Cam the Stitcher. She's got a different style of stitching than me, but I really like to watch that. She's very funny. She's got kind of a more gothic kind of feel for what she's stitching, kind of more alternative, but that's pretty cool to see people who are stitching stuff different than me or different than what I see on some other Flosstubes. I like to really have variety in what I'm watching and who I'm watching and what they stitch. It's fun to watch, you know, people who stitch stuff like you that you also would want to pick up and stitch. And there are things that Cam is stitching that I definitely would pick up, but it's also fun to see people stitch things that you're like, not really my style, but I like that. And she does a lot of color on color, like a dark pink, like a light pink fabric with a dark pink floss and that kind of thing. And that's really cool to see something different like that. So check out Cam the Stitcher. And then the last one is Mrs. Jones Stitches. That's Holly. Holly's been stitching for many, many years. She has really beautiful projects she's working on, a lot of things that are definitely on my wish list to stitch. She does a lot of great finishing, and I really like seeing the different finishes she's doing on different boards and frames and things like that. I think she's also participating in the Best Bunnies Sal. She's stitching some bunnies. So definitely check out Holly. I really love her channel. That's Mrs. Jones Stitches. So those are the Flosstubers I would recommend this time. So please give them a watch and subscribe to them and support them. And so next I will do a little bit of haul, very little bit. I'll talk about some plans, and then I am going to talk about books today. So first for haul, I mentioned to all of you last week or last episode that I'm going to do the Black Butterfly Sampler by Shaded Stitchery. I'll just put a quick picture of it there in case you missed it. So that's what it's going to look like. And this I'm going to be stitching for my niece who's going to be born this summer. I wanted to stitch something for her that she could have up in her room even as she gets older, not something baby themed. I wanted it to be kind of more versatile than that. And so I needed a fabric to stitch it on. And so I think that my brother and my sister-in-law liked the black on white, but I didn't want it to be too, it's not a boring pattern, but I wanted to do something a little bit more fun. And so I got, this is a white silver even weave fabric, 28 count. So let's see if this is gonna show. It's sparkly basically. Maybe. Yeah, I think you can see a little bit. So, but you get the idea that it's sparkly. So it's a white 28 count even weave, but it's got a sparkle and a shine to it. And so I thought that would just kind of, you know, add a little fun to the pattern. So I'm excited to start stitching that. So that will be my new start, and you will see that progress in my next video. So I'm glad that this came and I liked it. And I just got it from 123 Stitch. And so while you're at it, you can't just get one piece of fabric from 123 Stitch. So but also this other piece of fabric isn't even for something for me. So I got 36 count magical gray Edinburgh linen, and this is for, which I don't have it in front of me, but if you watched my last episode, there's a pattern that's for Halloween. It's a candy corn, and the candy corn is made up of different little motifs, pumpkins, ghosts, and something else. I'm going to stitch that for my mom for her birthday, which is in August, and so she wanted me to stitch it on like a dark color, so I got this to stitch it on because I think this is really nice. And I have a 28 count chalk linen, but it's stiff and it was difficult for me to stitch on, so I think this is going to be a bit easier. I think it'll look really nice, so I got that. And then for me, I did get the Prairie Schooler Santa for 2023 because I've been seeing him a lot on Flosstube. The pattern was on sale and he's so cute. I like that he has the candy canes in his belt and he's reaching out for the snowflakes, and I just think he's lovely. So I'm gonna stitch him once it turns to wintertime. So, or maybe Christmas in July, we'll see. But that's cute. So that's what I got, and that'll probably be it for haul for quite a bit. Just gonna try to not spend too much, be a little bit more careful just over the next couple months. My company does give us kind of an extra little bonus at the beginning of the summer, and so I'll wait until that comes in, and then I can use a little bit of that for some stitchy things. So I'll be good the next 2 months, and then when that comes in, I'll be able to get some things. So that's everything I think I have for the stitching. Hopefully I said everything I was supposed to, fabrics, floss, all of that, but I'll also put everything in the description. A little bit of a quicker update, I think, this time for the stitching, because I've just been working on berry patch and a little bit of progress on everything else. But let me know what you're stitching. Let me know how you're doing. Are you enjoying the spring? Is it getting warmer where you are, or is it not? Which, sorry if it's not. I'm going to talk about books in a second, but I did just want to say goodbye to everyone who's not going to stick around for the bookish talk. Totally fine if you want to move on. But if you are moving on, thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and liking. Please comment and let me know what you're stitching on or what you think of what I'm stitching on. If you celebrate Easter, have a lovely Easter. If you celebrate Passover, I hope you're having a lovely Passover. If you celebrate neither, then just have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, or week, whenever you might be watching this, and happy stitching. So for you sticking around for the books, a little bit of bookish talk here. So I'm still working on love songs, and I think I've been pronouncing this wrong. So thank you to Pam of Just Keep Stitching. It's Du Bois. So that's how you pronounce his name. But I am on page 555, and there are 790. So a little under 200 pages to go. I'm getting there. I really am enjoying it, but it is, in my opinion, it's a little too long at this point. At this point, I'm at the point 555 pages in where I'm a little bit ready to just wrap it up. And I still have more than 200 pages to go before it wraps up. You know, I won't give like an official review till I finish it, because who knows what's going to happen in the next 200 pages. And it's beautifully written, and I like the characters, and I like the story. I think it's just that right now I'm, you know, busy with work and hanging out with Alex and personal stuff and stitching. And so to be reading a book that's almost 800 pages, it's just taking me a really long time, and I don't want to start a whole bunch of other books because then I would never finish this. So it's preventing me from moving on to reading other things. But it's good. So I don't want me saying that to deter you, especially if you're a fast reader or you have more capacity to read than me, or it doesn't bother you to take, you know, a couple months to get through a book if it would take you that long. So it's good. It's just, it's taken me a bit of time to get through it. And so then I also thought I would talk about my lunchtime read at work, because this I'm loving, and that's also why I want to get through the other book to just focus on things that I'm really, really enjoying. So this is Sparks Like Stars, Nadia Hashimi, and I'm loving this. Like, it's the perfect lunch read because it's captivating and it's interesting. It's not so complex that, you know, just reading it for 20 minutes to a half an hour, you know, on weekdays or when I'm in the office I'm not like forgetting plot lines or who people are. And so this is fiction, though it almost seems like it could be historical fiction, but it's about a young woman she's like 10, named Satara, and she lives in Afghanistan, and her family is very close friends or loosely related to the president of Afghanistan. And there is a coup, and she and her family are staying at the presidential palace when this happens. Her family is killed, and she, with the help of one of the soldiers, is able to escape. And she escapes. The soldier kind of gets her in touch with this woman who's American and works at the embassy, or works for the UN or something, and is at the embassy in Afghanistan, but she's American. And so she works to help get Satara out of Afghanistan. Satara then lives in the United States, becomes successful, and actually goes to medical school and becomes a surgeon. And then one day, that soldier who rescued her walks into her emergency room, or into her doctor's office. And that leads her back down a path to the past, to what happened, to reconciling with what happened to her family, and the tragedy, and probably other stuff happens too, but that's kind of like the back of the book version. I'm at the point where she's not quite in America, but she's almost there. So I'm about 150 pages in, but it's beautifully written. It's really captivating. I really like the little girl. She's not too annoying, but she is a child, but she's brave for what happened to her. And I don't know, I just really love it. It's just really beautiful. It's really captivating. So far, highly recommend it. We'll see where it goes. But I know a couple other people, I posted this on Instagram, were saying that they enjoyed this one too. So far so good for this one. Perfect lunchtime read, though I did bring it home with me this weekend because I want to read it more than just at lunch, which is how much I'm enjoying it, is that I wanted to bring it home and have more time with it. And then the other one I'm going to talk about, sort of, is Frederick Backman's Us Against You. Now, I'm only showing this because I couldn't find Beartown. And Beartown is somewhere in my apartment. I don't know where I put it. But it's the first book, and there's 3 in this series. And a lot of you might know Frederick Bachman from A Man Called Ove. And Beartown I have read, and from what I can loosely remember, I think it's set in Canada, and it's about this town that is really, really focused on ice hockey. Like the town centers around the ice hockey team, the high school ice hockey team. I think it's high school. And it's a really big deal. The players are like loved and adored by everyone, and they're doing really well. And then something tragic or shocking happens, and it kind of divides the town. And so it's just this look at like people and their lives and the way in which we deal with things that are shocking or tragic, and you know, different sides we could take on different issues and different ways different people feel about things, and just like really the human condition and what it is to be a person and to be part of a community and to love something, but also try to reconcile the negative aspects of something. And I don't know, it's just beautiful and just captivating. And I read it so long ago, but I just still have that feeling of like how good it was. And it's very different from A Man Called Ove, which is much lighter and happier. So don't think that Beartown is like as light or happy or cute, I guess, as A Man Called Ove. It's quite different, which is interesting that Bachman can kind of pivot like that in his writing. But I'm just showing Us Against You because the reason I'm rereading Beartown is so I can read Us Against You, and I might actually listen to Beartown on audio. Because I don't know where I put the book. It's somewhere, I think. I don't think I gave it away. I think it's somewhere. But also I want to try to get back into audiobooks more. I'm very like wishy-washy on audiobooks. I want to be able to like just dive in and do audiobooks because then I can stitch while I read, because often I'm on my couch and I'm stitching and I'm like, I wish I could read right now. And it's like, Katie, you can. If you would listen to an audiobook, you could be reading and stitching at the same time. But I also tend to, my mind wanders when I'm just listening to something. I'm much more a visual person, and so like having the book and the words in front of me, I'm more likely to absorb it. But it might just take some practice with audiobooks and get into a groove of listening to things. And I'm commuting to work, so I can listen to it at work. And my parents are in Delaware now, so they're a not very long drive away, but long enough where you could really get a good chunk of an audiobook in listening to it. And so I think like listening to something that I've already read might help and just give a different perspective on the story maybe. So I think I will probably download and listen to Beartown, and then I can reread it kind of faster too, because audiobooks I think take less time than reading, and you can up the speed a little, and then I can be stitching, and then or did I say bread? And then Us Against You I'll read, just because I do have the physical book. So that's my reading plans. Finish love songs, listen to the audio of Beartown, and make my way through Sparks Like Stars. That one will probably not take me too long to read either, because I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully I didn't ramble too much there or misspeak. It is hard when you're just like speaking to the camera and you're like, did I just say the wrong title of the book, or did I say something wrong? But you can't like pause and like, well, I could stop it, but that would be silly. So sometimes my mouth speaks faster than my brain and things come out wrong, but we've all been there, right? So anyway, if you need any book recommendations, let me know. Let me know what you're reading. I love hearing your recommendations. I have a list going of things that you recommend to me. I have a lot of books I have not read yet that I already own, but I do have that little list that I'm saving for the right time. So I hope that you are enjoying your day and your week and reading and stitching, and that all is well with you. And thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. And if you made it this far, put a little bunny for Easter and for spring in the comments. And thank you so much, and happy stitching and happy reading.